All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming, and we're working C#. And in the last video, we began our payroll program. We're doing a console one first, and we're going to do four kinds of employees: an hourly worker, a piece worker, a commission worker, and a salary worker. But all we've done so far is to create the constants we're going to use in all these. And in main, I put this in so we can run the program repeatedly. We call show menu, and all show menu does is if we enter a 1, it's going to call hourly worker, a 2, it's going to call piece worker, a 3, commission worker, a 4, salaried worker, etc. Okay? But now they're not doing anything. So let's make them do something. All right? So let's come in here and let's have some variables. How's that? So let's see. Well, there's two things we want to validate in here. We want to validate the hours worked, and we want to validate the hourly rate. Okay, so let's say hours, decimal, hours worked, geez Louise, hours worked, and we'll set that equal to 0M. Decimal hourly rate, and we'll set that equal to 0M. Okay, we're just starting here. So these are going to be our local variables. All right, now I'm going to do this. I'm going to say input valid hours worked. It's going to give me an error because we haven't written it yet. Then we're going to say input valid hourly rate. And it's going to give us an error because that one doesn't exist. All right. Well, let's comment the first one out, and we'll write, or the second one out. We'll write the first one in a minute. But that's going to be hours worked. So we'll set that equal to input valid hours worked. All right, let's just do it right below here. So static void input valid hours worked. We don't want that to be a void. We want that to return a decimal. All right, sorry about that. So what I'll do is right now I'm just going to return 0 here. Okay, and I'm also going to quickly write input valid hourly rate. And that's going to be a decimal. And I will return, there should be a decimal here. And I should return here 0M. Decimals have an M there. And basically all I have to do is very similar to what I did before. All right, when I did this, telling you to do this. And if it's not that, so now I'm going to ask you to either enter let's do it this way. I'll just show you. It'll be much easier. All right. So for hours worked equals input valid hours worked. So for this valid hours worked, I'm going to say here decimal, just call it hours. You don't have to call it the same thing, equals 0M. All right. And let's do a string. We'll call it hour str, and that'll be equal to nothing because we're going to read it into our string and then convert it. So our str equals read line, but we have to tell it first what we want it to read. So put it right here. Please enter hours worked must be between come on, Jeff. Must be between min hours and max hours. Okay. There we go. All right, and our string is going to be equal to that. Now there's going to be a lot of duplication in here. We'll fix that up in a later iteration of this program. Okay, so I'm going to say bool result equals decimal dot try parse our string, and we're going to try to put it into hours. If not result, that means that we put something in that was illegal. All right, so if it wasn't a valid result, all right, we will it didn't work. So if we leave it blank or we put in something non-numeric in there, we want our right line illegal input. Please try again. Trying to figure out a fast way of doing this. While not result, which means we have to change this. So we'll tell you to try to parse it. Okay. Oops. So let's see. Okay, so we've got this result. So we're reading it in. We have to make sure that something was entered that was numeric, that we can parse. Our string equal read line. Result equal, I'm going to do a try parse here. grayed out there. Okay, so that's the result. If not result, we basically want to call it again. I think this will work. We're going to find out in a second. All right, so if we get down to here, it was valid. In other words, it was numeric. So if it's out of range, we want to do something similar here. Not positive this is going to work, but we're going to try it. I'll explain everything we're going to do in just a minute. All right. If we get down to here, we will return hours. All right, so let's put some comments in here which might make it a little easier to understand. So function to read in valid hours, 0 through 84. Hour string holding input hours. Hours hour str converted to decimal. All right, so input hours into hour str. Attempt to convert hour str to a decimal value. If conversion fails, show error message and call input valid hours worked again. This is a range check. If check fails, show error message and call input valid hours worked again. And finally, if we get down to here, valid hours input return value to hourly. Get that value to hourly. Let's see if it works. Now this second function isn't doing anything yet, and that's okay. Let's see if this works. So we'll put here our right line. Hours worked equal We'll see if it works. File, save all. Let's run it. Again, we're only working with number 1 right now. So 1. Please enter hours work must be between 0 and 84. I need a space in there, but that's okay. Let's leave it blank. Illegal input, please try again. Illegal input, please try again. Well, it still says illegal input, please try again. What if I put something valid in? Well, it's losing its value. We'll fix that in just a bit. See, I'm keep running into the same problem, and what that problem is I'm trying to return something. Okay, so like right here, I'm trying to return hours, which should be valid and actually should go into here. Okay, but for some reason, it's not. So let's see right here. Returning from our input valid hours worked. Hours equal plus hours dot toString. Put this on a couple lines so you can read all of it. All right. So file, save all, run it. We want a 1. We want to put, let's say, 40. Hours worked is 40. So that worked okay. I think when we do this, what we will want to do right away is to just, let's do a clear right there. And this may not be exactly what I want, so we'll see in just a moment. All right. Oh, and I goofed up one thing. Where we're inputting the hours, I do want a blank space in there so you can read it. Please enter hours work must be between this and this equals read line. Okay. Need a blank space there. Plus not there. We want that right here. All right. Let's save it and try it again. So please enter 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now 1. Please enter hours work must be between there and there. So let's say 40. Okay, now that's saying it worked. Let's try it again with something illegal. Okay. How about, looks like it's working right now. Okay, that's good. Now we want to basically do virtually the same thing for hourly rate, except we want to change all the hours worked to hourly rates. So I'm going to put all that in here, copy it to the clipboard, put it in here, and just start making changes. All right, we'll call this rate str, and this will just be rate. String holding input rate. That'll be rate str converted to decimal. Okay. Clear. Input hours into rate str. Please enter hourly rate. Must be between min h rate and max h rate. All right, and this is rate str. Attempt to convert the rate string. So result, that will be rate str, and we'll attempt to put it into rate. If it fails, show it and call input valid hourly rate again. All right. Like I said, we're basically doing the same thing, so. Well, let's see what happens. Before I put in these clears that I have in here all over the place now, we'll do a read line clear. So it'll do that before it shows the menu every time. Illegal choice, try again. It's going to call show menu, so that won't need a clear now. Call that. Again, we'll put in here a read line and a clear. Now, what I'm probably going to have to do for these read lines is I'm going to have to put something in front of it that says write, hit any key to continue. Something along those lines. Okay, I think that fixed it all. We'll find out right now. It's going to say hit any key to continue when we start, but that's no biggie. Okay, so we enter a 1, hit any key to continue. Well, we got it in there twice. Hit any key to continue, enter hours worked, 40. Hit any key to continue, hourly rate, 25. Hit any key to continue. Okay, so right now it's working. This is by no means perfect, but again, it's the first iteration too. We'll clean it up. We'll make it a lot nicer in a little bit. So we do the hours worked, we do the hourly rate. So then we're also going to need something in here, the gross pay. So this will now be gross pay equals, we'll call it calculate gross pay, and it will need the hours worked and the hourly rate. It'll need both those. Okay. So this will be called calculate gross pay. And we'll say we got a decimal for hours and a decimal for rate. Okay, and for now, just so it doesn't give us the error, we'll just return 0M. Okay, all right. We'll need a decimal for the gross. Set it equal to 0M. We don't have to do any error checking now because we've already checked. So if hours less than max non-OT, worked less than or equal to 40 hours, it was right, 40 hours, no overtime. So gross equals hours times rate, else employee worked greater than 40 hours has overtime pay coming. So I think I put that way up on top as far as the formula. Oh, I didn't. Oh, there it is. So 40 times hourly rate plus, so we can do that. We'll have to pretty it up a little bit because I'm using English and it's not programming code. Notice right now, those are not grayed out anymore because they're all being used. Okay. Gross equal, I'm going to get errors here, don't worry about it. Max non-OT times rate, that's their regular pay, plus, and here's where the rest of it will go. So hours minus max non-OT times rate, times rate it doing that? Don't I have a rate here? No, I don't. Yeah, decimal rate right there. Decimal hours, decimal rate. Decimal gross equal if hours less than. Okay, it didn't like the way I was trying to do it, so I've been doing it like this. So if the employee worked, this is their straight time right here. So that's their straight time. In other words, that's their non-overtime. And then this is their overtime. So say somebody worked 50 hours. Then this would be 40 times their rate, because that's their regular pay, plus 50 minus 40, which would be 10, times their rate, times their overtime rate. All right? And we will have to return gross. All right, let's see if that worked. And then we'll put this particular lecture to rest. C2 for currency. All right, let's see if this all works. So File, Save All, and we're going to try both an overtime and a non-overtime employee. So 1. Okay, we got too many of those, but that's okay. So 40, 25, gross is 1,000. That's correct. Try it again. Let's give somebody some overtime. 50, 20. That should actually be 1,100 if we do it right. Well, there's a dollar sign for the hours worked. That'll have to be fixed, but that's okay. Hourly rate, 20. Did I screw that up? Yes, I did. Yeah, 1,100. All right. It's got too many, hit any key to return in there, but we do have that done. All right, so in the next lecture, I'll do the piecework, which probably will go a lot faster. If time, we'll also do the commission, which should go faster, and this one is the fastest. All right, so that's the plan, is to go through all of this stuff. Okay, and again, I want you to watch me do something here, so I'm going to do a file, save all, and right now I've got a folder called C Programs. Okay, and let's see. I'll have to go back and check over my old notes because it's not that hard. Hopefully I still have that in here. Let's take a while to find it though. Let's see. Okay, text. Okay, I'm just going to stop right now. See you in the next lecture.